Welcome to my garage. Well, today we're going to look at the 2021 GPX. It's actually the 2021.5 to be exact, and it's the TSE250R, so it's the two-stroke model. And there's a little debate on what carb this has. GPX Moto, my understanding is now it's a 38mm. It used to be a 28mm. And I want to get a smart carb, and so do other people, and we're all trying to figure this out together. So I'm actually going to take this apart, use my trusty calipers, and see what the measurements are. That way we have them for the 2021.5 carburetor on this bike that comes stock. Forget the brand, it's just some generic copy of something or another. I don't quite know. But I also want to try this other carburetor. So if this bike really does have a 38mm, which I assume is the opening, maximum opening in here and not the fittings, and it's the end of the airbox in the boot, we need to see what the sizes are and the dimensions from here to here and see what fits. Now this is a Keihin PWK 38mm because this is what came on my Gas EC300 2012 bike, and I have a smart carb over there. So technically, it's a possibility that I could put on that smart carb over here, but I'd rather just buy another one. That carb, I've had it forever. I don't mind buying another carburetor. I do plan to keep this bike because I like it that much. So it's going to be a long-term review, and I wouldn't mind going that route. But I want to see if this one fits from the Gas because I have a JD jet kit and everything for this. And the only thing I'll probably need to do is buy a choke or dig around in my boxes and find where the choke went, which was, I opted for a handlebar mounted one at the time. So I could probably just put that back in if I wanted. Although I don't think I'd really have a spot to mount the little lever on this bike to activate the choke. But maybe I could, I don't know. It's not much. It's anywhere from $7 for a generic one on Amazon to like $22. And I think that's a Keihin choke, but I don't know, you know, it's Amazon. I'll probably just get the one for $7 because it says Amazon shipping and ships by Amazon, so I'll probably get it like in 2 days versus the other one was like a week or a couple weeks. And it's just a choke. It's not that complicated of a part, so a generic one should work just fine. Yeah, it's pretty cold out here. Background noise you hear is infrared heater I have going on the other side of the bike, pointing at the bike just to kind of warm this space up. So excuse me for the background noise, but it is cold out here. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and take a look. Everyone's counting on me to get measurements, so that's what I'm doing today. We're gonna strip it down. I've never taken the carb out of this, which I need just the float anyways, hence maybe putting this one in if it fits, or at least seeing if this one fits, then people have an idea. So, okay, well, let's get to it. So as you can see, got the bike tore down here. I'm going to take you a little bit closer. Let's have a look. So here we have the bike tore down. So I took off the top subframe bolts. I don't know what size, they're Torx. I took those out. I obviously took the plastics off, gas tank off, and the exhaust is off, which was easy. This bends back enough you can twist it out and get it right out of the boots, you know, the airbox boot and the boot to the engine. And there we have it. That's getting to this carb. Now what I'm going to do is take off the top here. It looks like Allen's. Gonna pop this off, take the throttle off, and then get this completely out and then start taking measurements. So I got the carb off, not too bad. This is what it looks like. I'll get a clean cloth and kind of wipe around. The SZC, LC. So some numbers here, probably manufacturer date or sign. that's what it looks like. I might even be able to use this and just put it on my Keihin, or however you say it, if I wanted it, if I go that route. Well, let's take the measurements. Hopefully you can see that the battery's like, it doesn't like the cold being out here. I can see it on an angle. I'll be reading it off, so it won't matter. Yeah, I want to jot it down on paper too. 45.4. It's the small end, and then the bigger end is, what is this? 62. This is, of course, millimeters. Okay. And let's make sure it's still pretty zeroed out. Yep. Let's see. Find a good spot here. The distance. Lock it into place, pull it out. 76. So in between is 76. Oops. Helps if I write neatly. Let's see the height, because that might play a factor. Make sure, I want to still make sure it's zeroed out doing these bigger numbers. This is just a cheap set. I don't have the top on here, but roughly 136. So it's a little bit bigger than 136. And if we were to go to the bottom bolt and up, and then factor the caps another, probably like that, 151. So 151 for height. That's overall height. 76 is the width. Okay, and I think that's basically what we need to know. So then what we do is set that to the side here, and I'm going to compare it to the gas one. Or you take those measurements and you just go right on out to Smart Carb and you start seeing what fits. So width 74.6. So this one is, I mean, it's not much. The 76, 74. This would probably still work just fine. There seems to be enough room there for a tight fit. So this would probably work. So this is 74. Small end here is 45.9, 45.4. Good enough. That's close enough. And this is 62.4. And this is, I said 62 even. Make sure I was in a good spot across. 62.8. Okay, they're basically the same. So that's actually 62.8. So this carb, Keihin, or Keihin, I don't know how you say that, PWK, this is a 38. So I already know that my gas carb, that is a 38, should fit there. I don't know about the height. That will be one thing. Due to the fact, I don't know how close this one was, so I might mount this guy back up quickly here just to see how close it was on the bottom. I should have paid attention to that. That will be the only thing, because the billet carb is bigger on the bottom, a little bit more bulkier. So we're gonna have to take a look. I can kind of match these up. Yeah, these are roughly the same, eyeballing same size. So I can put this one in. I'm thinking maybe I might do that. Spark plug is on, and I did look at the spark plug, and with the stock carb, it was right on the money. It wasn't too black, and it wasn't too clean, if you will. You know, it was that kind of goldy browny color. So it seemed fine to me. I might just have to put back in the stock carb, but there is an issue with the stock carb, by the way. Bad plating on the slide. I don't know if you can see that, but there's chips around the bottom, just bad plating. They also had the spring not in correctly with the little black retainer. It wasn't in the right spot. Just low quality control there. So here's the Keihin carb, and as you see, that wire is actually all the way in there, and that is how much opening there is. And it was definitely pumping fuel, because there's fuel in the boot, and yeah, it's just not closing enough with the stock GPX Moto cable. That's just the tip on that cable. Once you take it apart, you'll know what I mean. It's just not quite long enough for this carb. So people must be doing something else if they're getting this one to work. So that is something to note. I mean, easy enough if you wanted to probably hack away some of the shielding on the cable. Could possibly take it apart, take this top nut off. That would give a lot more. I don't know if it would be enough to totally close it. Such a pain to take all that stuff apart on a two-stroke. I think I'm just gonna switch over because I don't even have the choke. So, and I want to ride on Friday. So yeah, So I figured I would continue on with the video. I found my old cabled carb. It actually runs up to the handlebar, but I don't have the end. But, you know, at least it closes this off. I got the bike started, and I also, on the top, I took the nut off. Well, I'll show you on the other carb. You know, the nut that's on the bottom of this guy, I took that off. That gave a little bit more, almost enough to fully close it. But I think the problem is, it's still just not enough. So that's about as far as I'm gonna go with this carb, because, you know, I know that one's running just fine. So I'm gonna put everything back together and re-go through this, maybe different day, maybe, like I said, buy a throttle cable for the gas and see if that will fit up. And if it does, that will give me enough room inside the carb to be able to use this one and know that it closes without hacking away this cable. Or maybe I'll ask GPX Moto, Pitster Pro, how much for a cable, and just get one, and then I can kind of, you know, hack it and take off just a little nibble, and be able to use this carb, because I just don't think it's fully closing. It starts up and it just like does idle a little bit, but then it kind of just revs out and I have to turn it off, because, you know, that's pretty scary. The bike's just revving out, and which I'm pretty sure is it thinks that the throttle is open. You know, even that little bit is just gonna, you know, it's less than before, but it's still not down all the way. So anyways, I think that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, back to the stock carb for sure for now. Okay, I got everything back. I adjusted the idle a little bit. I know people are like, oh, it's idling high. I adjusted it down a little, so I think that's good. I think I got the flow good. However, I noticed inside there's, on the floats, there's like sharp ridges that could touch. I might have to go in there and kind of just sand those kind of more smoother, so they go by that there's a white thing in there, that they go by that a lot easier and don't get caught up. I think that might be the issue of why sometimes it sticks to be open, because it might just be getting caught. And anyways, it seems to be working with the stock carb. I'm done with being in the garage today. I'm gonna clean all this up probably tomorrow, but I definitely need a cable that's different, that allows that to shut like that, you know. Basically, that's how it should be shutting. And it was actually, let's see if I can turn this around and use my finger. It was actually, so it shuts all the way like that. It was actually still open like that. So better than before without the nut on top, but not perfect. So there we have it. That's the GPX. That's doing the carbs. That's getting, most importantly, the measurements. So let's remember that the small side here is 62.8, or the small side, that's the bigger side, the air boot side is 62.8. The engine side is 45.4. From opening to opening is 76. Total height is right about 151. So will you be able to fit a smart carb in here? There might not be enough room to actually do a 38. 38 is pretty big, honestly. You might be able to, you know, cut this off and have room within there. I just don't know if there's room back here, because those billet carbs are pretty big. So anyways, I really don't know. That, or you get the 28, you get the smaller air box, smaller boot, and you'll have more download torque. I ride boulder fields, so that might be okay. And we know that works. So that might be a way to go also. So we'll see. Anyways, hopefully this helped you all out somewhat. I don't know if it really helped out, to be honest. But anyways, here's a video of the GPX trying to sort out the carburetor. Have a good one and stay well and stay safe, my friends.